Thank you, Jordi. It's a pleasure to be representing City Science Lab Gipuzkoa for the second time. This time, this year, from the beautiful Andorra, surrounded by breathtaking landscape of the Pyrenees that invites us to delve into nature. And it's great to see how the host team from Andorra is putting that into value. Well, if we continue the line of the Pyrenees, west side, and we reach the Atlantic Ocean, we will arrive to the region of our lab, Gipuzkoa. Gipuzkoa's rugged orography has historically defined the settlements that still remain today. These urban areas have been developed in 7 valleys, surrounded by mountains. Well, each valley has a strong cultural, social, and economic character. Some of them are more about industry, as it happens in the inner part of the region. Some, like San Sebastian, are more touristic. And for example, Bidasoa is more about logistics, being a strategic point in the corridor that comes from the rest of Europe and then through the Iberian Peninsula to the north of Africa. This means that Gipuzkoa is a multi-node territory, where each node has a strong weight in the development of the region. Actually, regional government has structured spatial planning in 7 functional areas, 1 for each valley. This has provided to preserve traditional lifestyle, providing each valley with the services and amenities they need to keep carrying with daily life. This is also something we want to preserve from City Science Lab Gipuzkoa, over having maybe dormitory towns where people mainly go to sleep and then move to bigger cities for their rest of activities. This is also something that we don't expect to change in the following years, as 65% of the territory in Gipuzkoa is covered by forest, and it's protected for its environmental value. So there is very little space left for urban sprawl. City Science Lab Gipuzkoa creates from a collaboration among Mobile, a non-profit foundation that fosters sustainable and intelligent mobility, the MIT Media Lab, and Gipuzkoa Deputy Council. Additionally, we have a collaboration with Tecnun, School of Engineering from Universidad de Navarra. The local collaborators have an institutional role thanks to the regional government. The Mobile covers the implication of companies thanks to the role they are doing to help the network of local companies transition to the new mobility, and the role of university thanks to the collaboration with Tecnun. Our work revolves around 3 axes. First axis, reducing CO2 emissions, joining efforts with local government to reach climate neutrality by 2050. Second axis, improving the cohesion of the territory, making a balanced and harmonious development in all the valleys at the same time. And third axis, trying to find new business opportunities and helping local economic development. Coming back to the characteristics of Gipuzkoa, we know that cities are walkable because most of the times we need to move inside the city, we do it on foot. However, once we need to move out of the city, we drive our own car. And the main reason why we need to move to a different city is work. Commuting to work by our own car is highly extended and broadly accepted, as service companies, manufacturing facilities, or local producers are spread throughout the whole region. We knew this, so 2 years ago, there was a new law that made compulsory for big companies, for companies with more than 100 employees, to develop their own mobility plan. This makes firms responsible to define and implement those measures that will make commuting more sustainable. What we saw is that big companies in Gipuzkoa only cover 1/4 of the total employees of the region. So what we are proposing is an industrial symbiosis with neighboring companies to develop the mobility plan in collaboration rather than individually. This way, the higher rate of workers will have this responsibility, but also will get the benefits of having the mobility plan with, for example, bus services that will help them commute to the factory. 2005 was a year with a historical peak of CO2 emissions, and this is the evolution of CO2 emissions in Gipuzkoa since then. As you can see, the tendency is good, and we are in line with the plan of the regional government to reach climate neutrality. However, if we classify the total sum of emissions into the different sectors they come from, we will find that transport not only represents the highest rate of CO2 emissions, but it's also increasing. So if we don't revert this rising tendency, we won't achieve climate neutrality no matter how good we do in the rest of the sectors. To measure how good industrial symbiosis help to reduce transport CO2 emissions, we have developed a demonstrator that we call Sustainable Commuting Platform. So, Sustainable Commuting Platform is an invitation to think about developing the mobility plans in a collaborative way with neighboring companies rather than individually. What you can see in this video is an industrial park, a new industrial park that's still under development, and it happens to be the perfect use case to test this demonstrator. If the results in this use case are good in terms of CO2 emissions, and the estimation of extrapolating this use case to the whole region is also positive, we will have some new business opportunities to develop those tools that will let the companies try different interventions and see the results of applying different combinations of interventions and doing so in a collaborative manner to manage the relationships, the collaborations among neighboring companies, and also to perform the measures that are decided for the mobility plan, like allowing remote working, but also opening co-working spaces or providing a bus service or a car-sharing platform. And with this, we hope we will help the cohesion of the territory, improving commuting to work in the different valleys of Gipuzkoa. And this is only the first project in a path we are still working on, where we are interested in understanding the accessibility in Gipuzkoa, not only to jobs, but also to other services and amenities. Thank you.